Imagine this for a moment, a really deep question. What's actually more valuable? Is it the many or is the one? And maybe think about how far you'd really go to find something or, someone that you feel is truly irreplaceable.
Hmm.
These aren't just like abstract thoughts. They're questions that can fundamentally reshape how we see commitment, compassion, what it even means to be valued.
Right.
So today we're doing a deep dive into a very old, very powerful story that tackles these exact questions head on. The parable of the lost sheep.
A classic, but the way we're looking at it today is through a specific lens.
Exactly. Our source material for this deep dive is an excerpt from an episode called The Lost Sheep, Jesus Seeks You. It comes from a larger series, sometimes called Divine Prayer Battles or Faith and Fire.
And what's really interesting, I think, about this source is that it gives this incredibly well-known parable a very specific, almost intensely personal interpretation.
Yeah, many of us probably think, oh, I know that story. But this material, it really invites you to see it differently, with fresh eyes. It puts this huge emphasis on, well, pursuit and unconditional value in a really powerful way.
That's exactly it. So our mission today really is to unpack the kind of profound implications of this story as this specific source presents it. We're going to zoom right in on the actions in the story that seem, well, surprising. Counterintuitive even?
Definitely counterintuitive.
And explore what that suggests about personal value, about, relentless pursuit, and the actual nature of compassion. We'll dig into what it feels like to be lost, what it means to be found, and how this, ancient story can still hit home today, all drawing from the core ideas in the material provided.
Okay, let's unpack it then, starting right at the beginning, the foundation. It kicks off with a scene that, well, anyone back then in those agrarian societies would have known instantly. A shepherd, his flock.
Very familiar territory.
But our source, it doesn't just, tell you about it. It invites you, the listener, to imagine being that shepherd. Picture it. You've got 100 sheep. They're under your watch.
Yeah.
And the source makes this really crucial point right away. It sets up everything else. It says, you know every single one of them, their patterns, their sounds, even their stubborn little personalities.
See, that's key.
It's not just about managing a herd.
Absolutely not. And that's what's so fascinating, what our source really hammers home. The depth of that knowledge. It's intimate, it's individual. It goes way beyond just, ownership or counting heads.
Right.
Think about it, 100 sheep. It'd be so easy to just see them as a mass, right?
Yeah.
A blur of wool.
Yeah, just a number.
But the source insists the shepherd knows each one distinctly. This isn't some anonymous group, it's a collection of unique individuals. Each one has its quirks, its way of moving, its particular bleat, even those stubborn little personalities. That builds such a profound bond, a level of care that's not just about economics or routine, it's a relationship based on knowing them personally.
So it's definitely not just an asset on a balance sheet. It's a living, breathing relationship for that shepherd. You can really picture it, can't you? The daily rhythms. The shepherd hearing one bleat and knowing instantly, oh, that sounds a bit off. Or knowing which sheep always lags behind or which one pushes ahead when they move pastures.
Okay.
There's a real comfort in that kind of knowing. Not just for the shepherd, I imagine, but probably for the sheep too. To be truly known like that.
Precisely. And that deep knowledge, it creates an immediate emotional hook for you, the listener. Just think for a second, in your own life, what does it feel like to be truly known? Not just recognized, but deeply understood. Your unique bits, your habits, your good points, even the not so perfect stuff.
Yeah.
Or, on the flip side, what's it like to really know someone else that well? Their little tells, their inner world. So this opening, it's not just setting a scene, it's laying the groundwork for a story that isn't about stats, but about individual worth. About how much each single one matters.
It makes sure that when one goes missing,
Right.
it's not just a blip on the radar or a small financial loss. It's felt. It's personal. Like a tear in something precious.
Exactly. A tear in that fabric of connection.
And that deep personal connection, well, it leads us straight to the moment where the story takes this turn that, as our source points out very clearly, doesn't make sense to most people. So it's evening, sun's going down, shadows are getting long, there's a cold wind starting up,
Setting the mood.
and the shepherd, getting ready for the night, starts the count. 1, 2, 3,
Keeps going.
98, 99. And then that feeling sinks in. Wait, one's missing.
That gut punch moment.
Right. And here's where it gets really, really interesting, really counterintuitive. Because the shepherd makes a choice that just defies all typical logic, all conventional wisdom.
This is absolutely the core aha moment of the whole parable, isn't it?
Yeah.
And our source's interpretation really focuses on just how radical this is. I mean, think about it practically.
Yeah.
Economically, logically. What's the sensible thing to do?
You cut your losses.
You shrug and say, well, hey, I still have 99.
Right.
99%. That's a great success rate in any business.
Absolutely. Protect the majority.
Most people, faced with that, they'd prioritize keeping the vast majority safe. They'd consolidate, protect the 99 from the dark, the dangers, and maybe, more in the one is just an unfortunate, unavoidable loss. The cost of doing business.
Yeah, that seems logical, prudent even.
But this shepherd does the exact opposite. Instead of consolidating, instead of minimizing risk, makes the absolutely astonishing decision to leave the 99. Now they're left safe, presumably, but still.
Left behind.
And goes out into the dark, dangerous wilderness. Why? Specifically to find that one lost sheep.
I mean, just stop and think about that for a second. From a purely, utilitarian viewpoint, or even risk management, it makes no sense.
Not at all.
You've got the overwhelming majority safe and sound, accounted for. Why would you risk them, or at least risk yourself, your livelihood, for one missing animal?
Right.
Business-wise, it's crazy. Personal safety. Baffling. It goes against every instinct to protect the greatest good for the greatest number.
Exactly. Most people, most systems, they'd write off the one to save the 99, ensure their safety, maybe feel bad about it, but see it as necessary.
Yeah.
Acceptable collateral damage.
It's a choice that just completely challenges the way we usually think about efficiency, about scarcity, about what's worth it.
Precisely. And that decision, right there, it tells us something incredibly profound, almost revolutionary, about the shepherd's priorities. And by extension, the message our source is pulling out. It implies this extraordinary, almost unbelievable value placed not on the group, not on the majority, but on the single individual.
Wow.
It's a radical break from any conventional wisdom that says, protect the main asset, or focus on the big picture.
Yeah, it completely defies what most of us would call sensible or logical. It pushes past just being practical into this realm of, unconditional, unmeasurable worth.
It's not about maximizing profit here. It's not about minimizing risk. It's about something deeper, more fundamental, the inherent value of every single being, even the one that looks like a tiny, maybe even expendable part of the whole.
It completely flips the script on how we usually think about worth and purpose, doesn't it?
It really does.
It forces us to question those assumptions. It's not about what makes sense on paper in a spreadsheet. It's about what makes sense to a heart that genuinely knows and cares about each unique, stubborn little personality. That act itself, leaving the 99, taking that huge risk, it's like a massive declaration that one missing sheep is immensely, immeasurably valuable.
It says loud and clear, one loss is simply not acceptable. Even with 99 safe, no one is expendable.
Yeah, unequivocally.
And that willingness, that choice to leave the safety of the many for the one in danger, it sets the stage for what comes next, the search itself. Which is incredibly tough. Our source paints a really vivid picture. Through thorns, hills, maybe even wolves, you walk, climb, stumble, call out until finally you hear a faint cry.
Yeah, it sounds brutal.
It's your sheep, stuck, scared, helpless. This is not just, a casual walk to fetch a sheep that wandered off, but this is desperate, dangerous, physically demanding.
No, definitely not a leisurely stroll. That description, it's not just for color, is it? It paints this really visceral, almost scary picture of how hard this is. You mentioned thorns. Imagine that tearing at you, scratching, drawing blood with every step in the dark.
Right.
Hills, not just gentle slopes, maybe treacherous climbs. Rocky paths needing huge effort, careful steps in fading light.
And in the dark.
And then wolves, actual predators, lurking in that dark, dangerous wilderness. It's hostile territory, every shadow a potential threat. The wind's cold. The path is hard to see. And the shepherd isn't just looking passively. They're walking, climbing, stumbling. Their voice is probably raw from calling out over and over.
That persistence.
By sheer persistence, despite the pain, the danger, the risk to themselves.
Yeah.
It just underlines how deep that commitment goes, unwavering.
And it also highlights something critical about the sheep itself, its state.
Right, it's not just lost.
No, it's explicitly stuck, scared, helpless. This isn't some adventurous sheep exploring. This is one in real, immediate danger. Can't get out. Can't find its way back.
Completely vulnerable.
Totally. And that vulnerability, it adds another really deep layer to the shepherd's determination. The search isn't just about getting property back. It's a rescue mission. saving something that absolutely cannot save itself. It shows this dependency, this desperate need that the shepherd is willing and uniquely able to meet, no matter what it costs.
So the effort, the sacrifice here, it's not just big, it's enormous. Just imagine that cold, the dark, the physical exhaustion of fighting through that terrain and the constant fear for the sheep and for yourself. Yet the shepherd just keeps going, relentlessly, driven by that one goal. It's such a powerful, almost agonizing picture of determination, of love, really, pushing past fear, past exhaustion.
It absolutely is. And what makes this incredibly tough search even more compelling, even more revolutionary, is what happens right at the moment of reunion. You might expect some relief, sure, but maybe mixed with a bit of frustration. A stern word.
Yeah, like, where have you been? Or you foolish sheep.
Exactly. Or at least a sigh, like, finally. But that's not what the source describes at all. So what does this all mean for us then? The source material draws this really crucial line, connecting this old story to our own lives, our own experiences right now.
Because what actually happens when the shepherd, after all that danger and effort, finally finds the sheep? Our source makes it crystal clear, strikingly clear. You don't yell at it, you don't punish it.
No judgment.
None. You pick it up, carry it home on your shoulders, and when you get back, you throw a party.
Remarkable, isn't it?
It really is. It completely turns expectations upside down.
It truly does. This is such a critical moment in how the parable is being interpreted here. It highlights this complete, total absence of judgment. No anger, no frustration, not even a hint of, you caused all this trouble.
Nothing like that.
The whole focus is just rescue, restoration, and then pure celebration. It speaks to this incredibly pure, unconditional acceptance. And that act of carrying the sheep on your shoulders, that's so symbolic, so tender. It's like bearing the burden, lifting up the one who's vulnerable, offering absolute protection, total care.
It means the sheep isn't just being, like, led home and expected to walk back itself.
Exactly. It's being carried, fully supported, completely safe.
Yeah.
Cherished even.
Yeah.
It's an act of just profound tenderness and embrace.
It tells you so much about the nature of the finder, doesn't it? This isn't some angry authority figure.
Not at all.
It's a figure of just pure, unvarnished love and compassion. It implies this unconditional acceptance, focusing entirely on the return, on bringing it back home, not on the wandering that caused the problem in the first place.
Right. The focus is restoration, not recrimination.
And then the party. Throw a party. That's not just quiet relief, that's joy, overflowing, unbounded joy, and such a powerful affirmation of that sheep's worth.
Yes, it's a public declaration of value, of belonging, sharing that joy of the return with friends, with neighbors. It underlines the sheer happiness in finding what was lost.
It really elevates it.
Precisely. The celebration, it doesn't just emphasize the value of that one sheep, it magnifies it. Its return isn't just a private matter for the shepherd, it's a reason for the whole community to rejoice. It signals that finding the lost isn't just about fixing a problem or balancing the numbers. It's about restoring wholeness, affirming that inherent worth, celebrating the unique value of that single individual.
That celebration part is so key.
Absolutely. It transforms what could have been a grim rescue into this joyous reunion, an affirmation, and it directly pushes back against any idea that the one who got lost might be somehow less worthy or deserving of blame just because they wandered off.
And all of this brings us to the deeper meaning, right? The core allegorical connection that the source material makes so clearly.
Yes.
It states it very simply, very directly. You see, the lost sheep is us.
Boom, right there.
That simple sentence just takes this ancient parable and connects it straight to us, to our lives today. It transforms it into this deeply personal, universal metaphor.
It pulls the story right out of the history books and plants it firmly in our present moment.
Makes it immediately relevant.
Yes, that statement, the lost sheep is us. It completely changes the game. It turns it from just an interesting story about sheep into this profound reflection on the human condition, universalizes it. Makes it instantly relatable to anyone, really, regardless of their background or beliefs or what they're going through. It's an explicit invitation for you, the listener, to see yourself in that story.
Right.
To recognize times in your own life when maybe you felt like that one sheep, separated, vulnerable, maybe feeling like there was no way back.
It shifts the story from being about something external to being directly for you. And it gives us a much bigger, broader understanding of what wandering really means in this context. The source gives a few specific, but also really broad examples. It widens the definition way beyond just physically straying.
That's right.
It says, maybe you've drifted from church, maybe you've messed up, maybe you've been hurt by people and feel far from God. It's not just about church attendance, is it? It covers so much more, a whole landscape of human experience.
Absolutely. The source does a brilliant job of expanding wandering to cover this huge spectrum of, well, deeply human stuff, both internal feelings and external actions. Drifted from church. Okay, that covers a spiritual separation, maybe a quiet pulling away from a community or faith.
Sure.
But then messed up. Gosh, that could be anything, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Mistakes we've made, bad choices, big errors, moments we regret deeply, things that leave you feeling guilty, ashamed, cut off.
Things that feel big, maybe irreparable.
Exactly. Things that cast a long shadow on how you see yourself.
Yeah.
And then the third one, hurt by people and feel far from God. That speaks to the deep emotional, psychological, even spiritual distance that comes from real pain inflicted by others.
Like betrayal, abandonment,
Abuse.
all of those. That kind of hurt can leave you feeling so isolated, maybe cynical, feeling totally disconnected from any comfort, any source of hope, maybe even from God.
It really covers a lot of ground.
It does. The brilliance is how it shows that feeling lost or disconnected is universal. It happens in different ways at different times. It covers that quiet internal drifting, but also the loud public stumbles and those deep, painful wounds we carry.
It definitely hits home. Because, I mean, let's be real, who hasn't felt at least one of those?
Right.
That quiet drifting away from something you once valued, maybe a passion, a relationship, a belief, or the big embarrassing mess up that makes you want to hide. Or that deep hurt caused by someone else that makes you build walls, stop trusting, maybe even question things you held sacred.
It powerfully shows that feeling lost isn't just one specific thing. It's part of being human, a universal vulnerability we all share.
And that is precisely why the good news that the source presents next is so incredibly powerful. And for many, probably radically hopeful.
Right.
It links directly back to the shepherd's actions, the proactive ones we talked about. It says, but here's the good news. Jesus comes after you. He doesn't wait for you to find him. He leaves the 99.
Wow. Okay, so that's the active, relentless pursuit we saw with the shepherd, but now applied directly to you, to the listener's life.
Exactly.
It completely flips the responsibility for the search, doesn't it?
Totally changes the dynamic. Conventional wisdom, or maybe just our own inner critic, often tells us, okay, you wandered off, you messed up, now it's on you to find your way back.
Yeah, you have to fix it, earn your way back, clean yourself up first.
We're often taught that the lost one has to initiate the return, prove they're worthy of being welcomed back. But here, the source puts all the emphasis on the active search by the finder. It's not passive waiting, not waiting for you to get it together or finally see the light.
No waiting.
It's intentional, determined, a deeply proactive pursuit. And repeating that phrase, he leaves the 99. That's so crucial. It underlines that same extraordinary commitment to the one. Just like the shepherd risked it all.
It means the pursuit isn't dependent on how lost you are or how messy things look.
Exactly. It depends only on your inherent worth.
That implies a kind of love or care that is just profoundly proactive, totally unconditional, and relentless.
Yes, relentless is a good word for it. It's not about earning your way to through effort or self-improvement.
Yeah.
Not about being good enough to be sought out.
Mm-hmm.
It's simply about being valued enough to be pursued, regardless of where you are or what you've done.
It really does flip that script of the lost needing to find their way home.
It does. It says the finder starts the search, keeps the search going, no matter the cost, the danger, or how unworthy the one being sought might feel. It's this incredible statement about your worth, even maybe especially when you feel lost or wandering. It challenges that whole idea that you have to become worthy before you can be found.
That is an incredibly powerful message, especially if you've ever felt too far gone, too messed up, too ashamed to even imagine being found or welcomed back or believing you still have any value. It just cuts through so many layers of self-blame and maybe external judgment too, and it leads us right into the absolute heart of the hope that this parable, especially this interpretation, offers.
Yes, and maybe the most critical point in this whole message of hope is right here.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't come with judgment, He comes with compassion.
Okay, that feels huge.
It's a vital, truly transformative distinction because it's so different from what many people might expect or even fear.
Right, we often expect the opposite.
It directly contradicts that common human experience or that inner voice that tells you your mistakes, your vulnerabilities, your wandering. They're going to be met with condemnation, criticism, punishment.
Yeah, you brace yourself for it.
Instead, the Source proclaims this posture of pure, unwavering compassion.
That is huge, transformative, like you said. In a world where, let's face it, we often feel constantly judged, where mistakes get highlighted, where failure often brings blame, the idea of being approached with just pure, undiluted compassion, that's incredibly powerful. It suggests that understanding, empathy, care, those come first. Not blame, not punishment.
It perfectly mirrors the shepherd's reaction to finding the sheep, doesn't it?
Exactly. No yelling, no scolding, no what were you thinking? Just that tender rescue, lifting it up.
It's a profound statement about the nature of the finder. Grace over grievance every time.
It really speaks to that fundamental human longing for acceptance, doesn't it? Especially when we feel vulnerable or ashamed or like we've really failed.
Absolutely. To know that the pursuit isn't aiming for condemnation, but for restoration, for healing, for bringing you back to belonging, that changes everything about being found.
Yeah, it reframes it completely. From something maybe scary, a reckoning, to a compassionate embrace, a welcome home.
And that feeling of unconditional acceptance leads straight to the core, life-affirming message of the whole thing. The Source puts it so simply, so powerfully. No matter how broken, ashamed, or far gone you feel, you are still worth a search.
Wow, just let that land for a second. That message just flies in the face of all those feelings of worthlessness, right?
Yeah.
Shame, hopelessness, feeling like you're beyond fixing.
It really does.
It asserts this inherent, unwavering value, a value that's there no matter what state you're in, what you've done, how far you think you've drifted.
And the proof?
The proof is the search itself. The shepherd's relentless, risky search is presented as the undeniable evidence of that worth. It's this profound reassurance that your value isn't tied to your performance or how close you are or how perfect you are. It's tied to your very being, your intrinsic self.
It pushes back hard against so many messages we get, right? Messages that tie our worth to what we produce or achieve or how flawless we seem.
Definitely.
It's an unconditional declaration of profound dignity. It's not saying you will be worth the search if you change or if you get your act together.
No conditions.
It's saying you are still worth it right now, as you are. In your brokenness, your shame, your feeling of distance, this is such a radical assertion of individual dignity. A stark contrast to any system, spiritual or otherwise, that might make value conditional on perfection or following rules perfectly or having a clean slate. The message is, the search begins not because you fixed yourself, but because you are and always were inherently valuable, a cherished part of the flock.
And the Source really drives this home, this essential truth, with a series of phrases that are just incredibly reassuring. They speak right to those deep universal human needs for connection, for security.
Yeah, these are powerful.
He sees you, he hears your cry, and he's already walking through the dark places to bring you home. It's not just a nice thought, it feels incredibly active, present, like an ongoing promise.
And if you break down each of those phrases, you see the depth of comfort packed in there. He sees you. That's about complete acknowledgement. Being recognized as you, an individual, even when you feel totally invisible, overlooked, lost in the shuffle. It's about being known.
Truly seen.
He hears your cry. That's about deep empathy. Your distress, your unspoken needs, your quiet desperation. It's understood, responded to, not dismissed. It's about being truly heard. And then he's already walking through the dark places. That really emphasizes the active, ongoing effort, the journey through the hard stuff, the dangerous places, the risks being taken for you, on your behalf.
So it's not just a passive hope.
Not at all. It's an active, present endeavor, a promise of presence right there in the struggle.
And all of that leads to the final promise, to bring you home. And home, here, it feels like more than just a physical place, right? More than just going back to where you were.
Oh, much deeper. It symbolizes restoration, safety, that profound sense of belonging, and ultimately peace.
Where you're meant to be.
Exactly, where you're truly accepted, cherished, secure, where the wandering stops, the fear subsides. It's like an embrace of your true self, your true place in the world.
That really speaks to that deep human need we all have, doesn't it? To belong somewhere, to feel safe, to be accepted unconditionally, understood, embraced.
Precisely. The whole story, really, from the shepherd knowing each sheep intimately,
Right, back to the beginning.
to the tough, dangerous search, to that tender, compassionate reunion. It all points toward this ultimate promise, this profound restoration, a return to peace and secure belonging.
Okay, so this deep dive, we've really explored the core of this compelling story, looked at its layers of meaning. But before we wrap things up, the source itself offers something more direct, a point of reflection, an invitation really for you, the listener, to engage personally with this.
Yeah, the source material makes it very personal at the end. It offers this specific invitation, almost like a quiet prompt for internal action, especially if this story, this narrative of being pursued and found, has really resonated with you today. And suggests, if that spoke to your heart today, I want to encourage you pause for a moment, take a deep breath.
Just pause, breathe.
Yeah. And then whisper this simple prayer. Jesus, I've wandered, but I want to come home. Thank you for never giving up on me.
That reflective part, it really brings it all back down to a very personal, very intimate level, doesn't it?
It does. It beautifully acknowledges that whole emotional journey of the story. You know, from feeling lost and afraid through the desperate search to the rescue and the party, and then invites you, the listener, to step right into that story yourself. Not just watching it, but potentially being the lost sheep that's found.
It's not forcing anything.
Not at all. It's just offering a path. For anyone who feels genuinely moved by this message of unconditional pursuit, of acceptance, and that gentle suggestion to take a deep breath, to whisper, it speaks to how vulnerable, how intimate that moment of connection, that potential shift might feel.
And then it follows that invitation with this really powerful, comforting reassurance. It says, you're not alone. You're not forgotten. And this is just the beginning of a beautiful journey.
That feels like the ultimate distillation of the hope and promise in the source material.
Yeah. It speaks directly to those feelings of isolation, of fear, of being overlooked that can just swamp you when you feel really lost or cut off from purpose or community.
It truly is. Those short, direct statements pack such a punch. Each one tackles a core human fear. You're not alone. That hits right at the heart of isolation, doesn't it? That feeling when you're adrift.
Definitely.
You're not forgotten. That counters the deep fear of just ceasing to matter, of being overlooked, especially in a busy world that often seems to value the group over the individual. And then this is just the beginning of a beautiful journey that reframes everything. It turns what might feel like an ending, like despair or the end of a tough chapter, into a hopeful starting line.
Yeah, shifts the focus.
Exactly. From the past wandering to a future of restoration, growth, connection, it offers this vision of possibility.
So just to recap our deep dive today, we've really dug into this extraordinary, almost illogical value placed on the one lost sheep. A value so huge, it makes the shepherd leave the 99 behind in this active, compassionate, and frankly, totally counterintuitive pursuit. This whole narrative, as our source presents it, it carries this radical message. Acceptance and belonging come before judgment, no matter how you might have wandered.
That's the core.
It profoundly challenges how we usually think about value, about logic, about what it really means to care for someone.
Indeed. The key insight here, I think, is that your individual worth isn't lessened by being lost or broken. It's not conditional. Instead, the immense effort, the huge risk, the tender sacrifice made to find and restore that one individual. It highlights an unwavering, unconditional value that was there all along.
Right.
It's a story about a relentless, proactive love that radically prioritizes the one.
So here's maybe a final thought to chew on. If the one who is lost is valued so unconditionally, so relentlessly, maybe even above the 99 who are safe, what does that perspective shift tell us? How might that change how we approach challenges or even relationships in our own lives? It's a lens that sort of encourages us to always look for the one, right? To offer that pursuit, that compassion, even when we have the 99 seemingly secure, even when it doesn't seem logical, even when it feels risky.
It's a perspective that could fundamentally change how we set priorities, how we practice empathy, how we choose to